What's going on, guys? Ultra Anastasio here with FlytPath.com. As you can see here on the table, I have a bunch of different tripods that I'll normally use because as a solo content creator, you normally want to have a small tripod to use while you're in the field that is pretty universal. But in this video, I want to talk to you about this new one right here, which is from PGYTECH. And if I'm sure you guys have been following the channel, you guys know a lot about PGYTECH. They do a bunch of drone accessories, camera bags, camera equipment, pretty much all the stuff that relates to drone and camera gear. They make accessories and a bunch of different products for them. So when PGYTECH reached out to me and they wanted to send me this new, they call it the Mantis tripod or MantisPod. So I was super interested to see what PGYTECH would come up with that is different than all the other ones that we've already seen on the market. And as you can see right here, this is my A7S III, and without any problems holding this thing up, I'm able to carry this thing around on this really small compact tripod without any problems. This, especially all the other camera gear that I have, this thing is called the Mantis tripod, mainly because it has a little feature down here that we'll talk about in this video, one of the modes that it can do that really makes it stand out, I think, from a lot of the other ones out there. And a little disclaimer, PGYTECH did send me this tripod. They are sponsoring this video. However, they didn't see this video before it went live in order for them to make any changes to it. I did tell them that I'm gonna be talking about other tripods in the video. I'm gonna be talking about pros and cons. They were all for it. They wanted to hear my honest feedback, and that's what I'm going to give, of course, to you guys. And being that they are sponsoring this video, PGYTECH is going to be giving away this new tripod right here, the MantisPod, the Pro version. There's actually a couple of different versions of it. This one is the Pro version because it does have this right here, which we'll talk about is the full articulating ball head up top with the plate, and the non-pro version does have an adapter on it. I wasn't able to get that one in time, but it's actually a fixed adapter that goes onto here that you can hook up to your camera and not this rotating ball head joint, which is the non-pro version. This right here is the pro version, and they're gonna be giving away one of these to one of you guys. Now this video is not gonna be a full comparison with every single tripod on there, but I did just want to show you some of the main ones that I've been using, and just to show you some of the differences that I see are some pros and cons from each one, and kind of the things that PGYTECH, I think, looked at all the ones that are out there and tried to make basically a merge between all of those. Take the best pieces from each one and put it into this one right here. Now I really like these small types of tripods here. This one's actually from Ulanzi. Mainly I use these for my real small cameras, something like the Sony right here, or for my action cameras. Now I recently did a review on this one right here, which is the Polar Pro tripod. I really like how durable and how thick it is. I think, like I mentioned in my video, I feel like it's made for the more stationary type of photographer. And that was one of the downfalls. I felt like it wasn't made to be on the go, where you're able to grab it, fold it up, and go. Now I think everyone is familiar with these, the Joby Gorilla Pods, which are amazing, and I think this pretty much is the staple when it comes down to solo content creators. Now while they are really good, the thing is, if you do have a larger camera, you also need to pair it with a larger GorillaPod, and it is massive when you go up to the bigger one. I believe this is the 5K version, and this is where the SwitchPod comes in. The SwitchPod pretty much takes what Joby did and says, you know what, why don't we make something that's made for content creators? It's made to just be more of a tabletop flat surface, and that's about it. You have to get the third-party accessory ball head. I'm used to using a Joby one, but SwitchPod actually does sell their own. But to SwitchPod's credit, that's what they wanted to do. Keep it as light and simple as possible, which they did. Now with all that said, let's just get right into the PGYTECH MantisPod, talk a little bit more why and what is so special about this one right here. Now the first thing I like about the MantisPod is this right here, a really small footprint. So if you do want to carry this even in your pocket, the side of your bag, you're not taking up too much room like some of the other tripods on the market. Next is build quality. Overall, feels nice and solid in the hands, made of magnesium, and it has rubber padding and rubber grips all the way around, especially if you're gonna be carrying something a lot heavier. You wanna make sure you have a nice solid grip. You don't wanna be just holding on to something that's metal where it could slip out. Here you do have these rubber pads on the back and on the front for your hands. And also when it's opened up, you do have rubber pads on the very bottom, so it does prevent it from slipping. And the one thing that's nice about PGYTECH is that they have this new SnapLock plate that's also Arca-Swiss compatible, and it contains a tight fitting screw that prevents it from moving around while it's attached to your camera. Now, as far as the way you're able to use it, they say there's about 7 modes that you're able to shoot with this. I think there's definitely a lot more because of the fact that you have, you know, a free flowing head if you get the Pro version. But there is this one mode which is called the Mantis mode, which we'll talk about. And I think this one came in clutch in certain scenarios that I know a lot of the other tripods definitely could not have done. Now the first mode is this right here, standard tripod mode. So of course, if you're just on a tabletop and you wanted to use it as a standard tripod mode, this would be it, just like that. And as you can see here, there is a little button that you're able to press. So you are able to change the angles and it will lock in these different angles here. Now that was a standard tripod mode, and I think that's probably the one that most people will be using. But for me, when I use my heavier camera, what I've been doing is I like to have a lower base. So what you can do is open this up a little bit wider and then press the button here, straighten it out, and then there you go. Now you have a nice wide base. So you have a lot more stability by keeping it a lot lower to the ground, to the table. So preventing a lot more of that rock, especially if it's going to be top heavy in standard tripod mode. Next mode we have is the standard handheld. So what you want to do to use standard handheld, of course, is swing these back in. So go straight into a little handle like that. Put your camera right on top. Lock that in. Swivel this around. And there you go. Now you have a pretty standard vlog style setup. Here I have my RX100 Mark VII with my flip out screen, so I am able to see myself while I'm vlogging, just like that. So pretty standard handheld mode that I think most people will be using. So once you're done vlogging this way, all you have to do is push this straight back up, straight into something like that, which is tabletop. And the one thing that's really nice about this handheld mode is that they also have this right here, a Coldshoe mount that swivels. So if you did want to add something like a light here on the side, you're able to add that right there. Or if you wanted to have a lot better external audio, hook up your external audio mic, and there you go. You have audio, external audio right there. It's nice that it's actually kind of lower pointed up, so it doesn't get in your shot. Sometimes if you have a bigger microphone that's sitting right on top of your camera, it could get in your shot if it's pointing a little bit too far out and you have a really wide lens on there. But nice that it's kind of tucked away here at the very bottom for you to either use for an external microphone like this, or for something like this, an external light. Now also with vertical video being super popular, vertical mode on this thing, pretty simple. All you have to do is of course lock the ball head, turn it all the way down. There you go, lock it back up, just like that. And there you go. You can now shoot vertical video just like this if you wanted to. Grab this, hold it up like so, and even something like this if you're using something heavy, the A7S3 or the A6600. And there you go, vertical mode on the A6600 with this small Mantis pod. Holds it just fine. As you can see, I'm able to do that vertical mode just as long as you have it a little bit better balanced over one of the main legs. The next mode is by far my favorite, and it's because this is actually called the Mantis pod. As you can see here on the very bottom, there's a little hook on the main leg right there. You have to pull this out, and it's basically just that. It is a little arm that comes out for you to hook this on to something like a sign, a bench, a gate, a fence, anything that it's able to hook onto. And this right here will be used as its balancing point to give it bottom pressure. And what it does, it'll just hook on. This will level out. And depending on what camera you have on here, so I'll just drop my Sony back on. And now you are able to shoot in places you probably wouldn't have thought you'd be able to with this option, because now all you have to do is hook this up. This is that one piece, I think, that allows you to now separate this tripod from some of the other ones because of this little thing right here. This is what they're calling the Mantis mode on the PGYTECH MantisPod. And while we're at the bottom here looking, as you can see, not only do we have this little Mantis hook, we have another accessory that's actually built into it, which is right here. Now, if you haven't guessed already, this built-in little accessory is for your mobile phone. So if you aren't using one of these cameras here, it actually does come with this accessory. Slip that in there, and there you go. Now you can do exactly the same thing you were doing with your bigger cameras, but now you can sit here and vlog using your back camera if you wanted to, just like that. And then of course, if you wanted to switch this around, all you have to do is Turn it all the way over. Now you can hand hold it this way. Now this final mode that they have here is called the extended mode. And when I first saw it and trying to figure it out, I was like, okay, how does this work? And why would you really need it kind of like this? But something like my RX 100 Mark 7, it doesn't really get you that wide. You need to be a little bit further away from the camera. Pops right off, this little head part. And then all you have to do is slide it into this Coldshoe mount down here and tighten it up. All you have to do is now drop your camera on here, tighten this up, and there you go. Now you have the ability to have a lot more range and a lot more distance away, especially like this where I'm shooting with a camera that doesn't really have a wide field of view, or even if you're shooting with your mobile phone and you wanted just to have more people in the shot, you can now extend this out. I'd say this is about another 6 to 7 inches here, plus your range here is about another 5 or 6 inches. So almost a foot away, I would say, to give you a little bit more range. That way you are able to vlog just like this. As you know me, I like to use my action cameras. So of course I wanted to make sure, how do I hook up my action camera? Now, standard action cameras have the 2-prong at the very bottom. All you have to do is get the standard tripod mount. Of course, use one of the plates that you might have from existing cameras, or the one that comes with the PGYTECH one. Use it the exact same way. Place it right on top, snap it in, tighten it up, and there you go. Now you can have your action camera on here, just like all the other ones, ready to go. Super simple. And there it is, guys. That is a new PGYTECH MantisPod, Mantis tripod. That Mantis mode is it's something that you probably are thinking, when am I ever going to use it? Until you actually use it and you're like, what else can I hook this onto? That was something that I just started looking. I started looking for things to hook it onto because I thought it was such a cool feature. And I'm like, maybe it'll work here, or is it going to be strong enough to hold it here? And then every time I put it on something, I'm like, that seemed like it worked. It seemed fine. So that feature alone, I think, is such a cool thing because it just now opens up the ability to shoot in so many different areas that you might not have thought of shooting. Plus the Pro head here at the very top just gives you all of the types of adjustments for you to shoot at all the different angles. Like I said, I feel like they just kind of took a lot of the good stuff from each one of the tripods that have been out there and really made this one here. I think just the craftsmanship and engineering that was put into this thing, very, very impressive. Not only that you're able to do all of the functions, but you're also able to carry heavy loads like this and all the way down to something like your cell phone with that built-in cell phone mount. And as far as any improvements go, as of right now, there's nothing major. The only thing that was really slowing me down was just understanding how everything kind of works in conjunction with one another. So it's not really, I would say, a downfall. It's more of like you just have to get used to using it, because there's definitely certain things that when you try moving some of the arms, they don't go all the way. You have to adjust one more thing back. Or, you want, so for instance, if I wanted to go from wide to, the standard tripod mode, you can do so just like that, but then you're gonna also need to lift this back up and then level it back out. So I wouldn't say there's anything wrong with it. It's more of just, you just have to get used to it. It's definitely different, and there's so many different types of functions of the tripod that you just have to get used to. Like I said, this is the Pro version because it has the ball head, but you can also get the standard version. I'll make sure the links for both of those will be down below in the video description, so make sure you guys check that out. And once again, thanks to PGYTECH for sponsoring this video and also giving one of these away to one of you guys. So if you're a videographer, photographer, content creator, or anyone that's just interested in this unique tripod, I kind of call it like the Swiss Army knife of tripods, just because you're able to do so many different things. If you want to win this tripod, of course, all you have to do is like this video. Make sure you guys are subscribed to this channel and have that bell notification turned on. Also, make sure you guys are following me on Instagram as well as following PGYTECH. Both of our information is going to be right over here. And lastly, leave me a comment in the comment section down below. Let me know what you guys are going to be shooting with. Like, what are you using as a camera? Are you using your phone? So that you would use that little phone mount. Are you using something like an action camera, point and shoot, or using a mirrorless camera? Let me know in this comment section down below what you guys are shooting with, and also what do you shoot? Do you shoot landscape? Do you shoot portraits? Leave me those comments down below, and within the first 72 hours of this video, I'm going to be picking a random comment winner from that list down below. And this is the reason why you're going to want to have that notification bell turned on, because whenever I do product reviews, I normally try to get an extra set to give out to one of you guys. So make sure that bell is turned on so that way you do get notified when I post new videos, because these are normally time-based giveaways whenever I have them. That's about all I got for the PGYTECH MantisPod. Let me know what you guys think about this kind of Swiss Army knife of a tripod from PGYTECH. Let me know your thoughts on it down below in the comments. As always, if you guys got value from this video, a big like would be much appreciated. And of course, don't forget to subscribe. Hit that bell to be notified when I post new videos. This is Anastacio with FlytPath.com. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.